Hi, hello everybody. My name is Joanne Bentley and I am the Director of Accessibility Services at Wavefront Centre for Communication Accessibility. And we're really excited to host this segment on assistive listening with modern solutions. We at Wavefront Centre are always exploring new innovative technologies, hoping to improve listening systems in public facilities. And this is just one of our options that we're here to share with you today. So first, I'd like to make sure that everybody has access. So today we have ASL interpreting, we have captioning, and for those of you who prefer stream text, if you check in the chat box, you'll see a link there. So we are going to save all of the questions until the end of our session, where we will have an opportunity to ask our individual guests. And if for any reason we do not have the opportunity to provide all the answers, we will gather the questions, get the answers, and we will share them with everybody who's here in our session today. I would like to start off with land acknowledgement. So Wavefront Centre for Communication Accessibility is committed to create a barrier-free environment for our staff, clients, and our visitors. We acknowledge that our work takes place on the unceded homelands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. So I'd like to start by introducing you to our guests today. So if we can have our guests, Ariel, Corson, yes, Debbie and Jeff join us on the screen. So today we have Ariel, and he is the Chief Marketing Officer at Bettear. And we have Porson Lee, and Porson is our Technology Manager with Wavefront Centre for Communication Accessibility. And we have two guests joining us today, Debbie and Jeff, who are members of the community who have a great deal of experience utilizing assistive listening systems in public spaces and in their daily lives. So I'm going to start with you, Ariel.
Hi, Joanne. Thank you for having me on this session.
It's great to have you. Thank you for joining us. My first question for Ariel is, let's give everybody an idea of what is Bettear and what inspired the Bettear community to come up with this innovative technology.
Okay, so for answering this, I will share my screen, and can you see my PowerPoint presentation? Yes. I guess you can. So first of all, I'd like to start with the slogan of Bettear, be part of the moment. And this is what is so important for us as a company, offering advanced solutions for the hard of hearing. We do want them to be part of the moment. And to answer your question, let me tell you about the history of Bettear. So we are an Israeli company, just celebrated our 5th birthday a few weeks ago. And the company was started by the two gentlemen on the left-hand side, Yami and Itamar, who ran a business of offering audio and light services for outdoor live performance venues. And during their 10 years or so of running the business, they came across many cases where attendees could not hear the content of the live music. And this is when they started thinking about an innovative method or solution, looking for a good solution to solve this. And they found it Bettear. Then the next person I'd like to mention is our Chief Scientist Officer, Dr. Neil Fink. who has a PhD in psychoacoustics, teaches at the local university, and he is actually running all our field tests because some of our solutions are based on real field tests and research that Nir is running. About myself, I hold a master's degree in medical electronics, and I have a patent on hearing aids. And I joined the company more than a year ago to bring the company and the innovative solution to the global market. And I have to also mention Dr. Yossi Bar Yosef, who joined us about half a year ago, and he is our chief AI scientist. And he's going to be in charge of embedding the great technologies of AI into our future products. So this is what we do. We have various solutions for the hard of hearing, and we employ streaming technologies, Wi-Fi and Auracast, and I'll tell you about them during my part of this webinar.
Okay, well, very nice. Can you tell us, I guess, describe a little bit more what Bettear is and how it compares to some of the other assistive technologies that have been around for a long time, and how is Bettear different?
Okay, interesting enough, I was able to prepare this table using AI. And why I'm mentioning AI, because some of you have already seen similar competitive tables made by vendors from various assistive listening sectors. And I decided to try and create an objective one. And I asked Gemini of Google, and this is what came out. So starting from the left-hand side, we have the induction loop, the oldest assistive listening technology. Works great, nothing bad to say about it. Easy to install, easy to use, not easy to install. And it is catering for the hearing aids and cochlear implants that have the telecoil. We do have the FM, which requires the patrons to borrow a device, and this is not very easy to use, and sometimes it is doesn't offer the best sound quality. We have the infrared, offers a very good sound quality, but the users have to be in line of sight to the infrared the transmitter. Then we have the Wi-Fi and Auracast. We do believe in Wi-Fi, and at the moment, this is our leading product. And I think the main reason is the fact that Wi-Fi is relatively easy to use. It can cover very large areas. And maybe you're not aware of the following. In most countries on planet Earth, only 1 of 5 or only 1 of 6 of the people that need hearing aids is actually using them. People are delaying the choice of using hearing aids, and maybe people are ashamed, and maybe it is related to cost. And it is really a shame because there are so many great technologies like Wi-Fi. Now, with Wi-Fi installed in venues, people that do not own hearing aids or cochlear implants can still come with ordinary Bluetooth-enabled earbuds and headphones and join the stream. And we do stream at a very high quality. We actually claim we stream hi-fi over Wi-Fi. None of the 5 technologies mentioned in the table is perfect. All of them have drawbacks. For example, the interferences in the induction loops, the need for dedicated receivers FM and infrared, even the Wi-Fi has some issues. For example, latency, which could be an issue. But overall, I do believe in Wi-Fi, and I do believe in the potential of this great technology. I won't go over all the details in this very complicated technical table. I just want to mention, just before I move on to the next item, Auracast. This is the latest technology based on Bluetooth. Actually, it's Bluetooth low energy. It has a lot of potential. One of these days, sooner than later, so I hope, each and every hearing aid and cochlear implant and earbud and headphone will be equipped with an Auracast chipset. And this will enable the users to get the high quality, low latency audio stream directly into the hearables. Okay.
Do
And
you,
as Joanne, and
sorry,
as Joanne mentioned, we're launching this new technology this year, and we're looking forward to installing the streamers in so many new venues in Canada.
Ariel, would you have a picture within your slide deck of what Bettear looks like for our guests?
Sure, sure. So I embedded a slide with our Bettear show, and this is the server used for Wi-Fi streaming. And you can see the picture on the top right-hand side. Now, as I mentioned, streaming with Wi-Fi is done using the end user's smartphones. And this is, you can see the second bullet stating BYOD, bring your own device. The assumption is that the vast majority of hearing aids and cochlear implants are already connected over Bluetooth for their smartphones. And they use the smartphones for making phone calls, listening to Spotify, YouTube, or whatever. And this is really a logical step for them to use the same mechanism of a hearing aid, cochlear implant, and earbud with a smartphone when entering a cultural venue where the audio is streamed over Wi-Fi. And you can see at the bottom right-hand side a screenshot of our application. We do offer an application for smartphones, Android, and iPhones, supporting up to 18 languages, easy to use, straightforward. All you have to do is to click on a button and you are connected. Okay, so this is the B show. And let me also mention one more thing, and this is maybe one of the next advantages of Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi can be used indoors for sure, but also for outdoors. And by being able to cover large areas in outdoor venues, it can be used in gatherings, lectures, music festivals, and so on and so on. And we do have a lot of such cases in our history.
And so for Bettear, wherever there's an audio source, so in the outdoor concert experience, it would be connected to the sound system and then sends information via Wi-Fi to the app on somebody's phone, and then it goes directly to the hearing aids that are Bluetooth compatible or cochlear implants?
Correct. Yeah. I prepared this slide. It may be a bit too technical, but you're right. Looking at this diagram on the top left-hand side, we have the audio mixer. This is the device that mixes all the audio inputs, microphones, musical instruments, and so on. Typically, the mixed sound is going to be sent to an audio amplifier and from there to the speakers. We take this same high-quality mixed sound into our B show. We modulate it, send it to via the Wi-Fi access point to the air. And on the other side, devices with Wi-Fi interfaces like smartphones will receive the audio over Wi-Fi, convert it to audio over Bluetooth, and directly into the hearing aid, cochlear implant, or ordinary Bluetooth devices. I just wanted to also mention the fact that due to the fact that Wi-Fi is easy to use and can cover so many areas and venues, the vertical markets that are using our assistive listening solution are education, art, and entertainment. We did install our system in various university, colleges, classroom, conferences, meeting rooms, museum visitor centers, and primarily cultural halls, theaters, cinemas, stadiums, community center, music events, and nursing homes. And so many people nowadays are enjoying high quality sound brought in over the air directly into the ears.
Well, I love the fact that you're utilizing existing technology that people are very comfortable with, like our own mobile phones. Do you have an idea of the percentage of people with hearing aids who are using them or cochlear implants that have Bluetooth connectivity? I've heard it's around 85%.
Yes, you're right. As far as I know, currently or in the last few years, 85% of the hearing aids sold are using Bluetooth. Let me also mention the fact that you probably know in the last year, Apple has announced that their AirPods will be used as similar to over-the-counter hearing aids, and they are for sure connected over Bluetooth to the smartphones. And if I'm not mistaken, 100% of the over-the-counter hearing aids supporting Bluetooth, same as the cochlear implants sold today.
Right. So I'm not certain if the Apple products are, I don't know if the proper word is certified or allowed, or they meet the standards to be available in Canada. So I'm not certain. I've heard a little bit about that, but our audiology program is definitely in the know regarding that. Do you want to just touch upon, I want to move over to Corson for a couple of questions, but do you want to just touch upon, so now we have the generation who has Bluetooth technology, equipped hearing aids, cochlear implants, and then moving towards the future, some of our participants have heard of Auracast, and perhaps others haven't. And I know that that's really where things are moving in the future. And I'm wondering if you can give a quick overview of what that looks like.
Okay, Auracast is the next technology based on Bluetooth, where the regular Bluetooth is a point-to-point, for example, from the smartphone to the earbuds or the hearing aid, where Auracast is about broadcasting, point to multipoint. So this means that audio can be shared with multiple users. So this is the first difference between Bluetooth and Auracast. Second, Auracast was redesigned to offer an end-to-end, very low latency. And for example, in our measurement with our products, we reach a number of 34 milliseconds, lower than the threshold of 40 milliseconds that is used sometime in the industry. The Auracast is based on BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy, which means that the end devices, hearing aids, cochlear implants, and earbuds will last longer. And the sound quality is so much better.
Excellent.
And looking at the diagram I have on the screen, this is a very similar diagram to the one I showed describing the Wi-Fi solution. And the difference is that instead of Wi-Fi access points, we do have Auracast access point or streamers.
Okay,
And
so
then,
sorry.
no, and that's it. The audio is streamed directly into the hearables.
So for now, it's not one or the other for now. For now, you have Bettear, and then moving forward, you will have Auracast, so that both can be used at the same time within the same space, depending on the user and what they have equipped in their technology. Is that right?
Correct. Correct. If I may use the following slide. Indeed, John. So we are actually advocating for the hybrid mode, meaning trying to recommend end user, venue owners, venue managers, and so on to install a Wi-Fi based streaming solution alongside an Auracast streaming solution. And why? Because currently in the first quarter of 25, there are less than 20 Auracast enabled hearables on the market, but everybody speaks about Auracast being, speaking about 2025 being as the year of the Auracast. I will mention later the fact that Android 16, for the first time an operating system, is now supporting Auracast. There are very strong rumors that Apple is going to officially announce support of Auracast in September in their major release. But until then, we highly recommend to use Wi-Fi streaming. And as a phased adoption, slowly by slowly, more and more users are going to replace the existing hearables to become Auracast-enabled hearables. And then more users will use Auracast as the main streaming technology.
Excellent. Thank you. Ariel, we're going to come back to you towards the end of the presentation. I should mention for our participants, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. And so actually, I made a little bit of an error. I'd like to start off with Debbie and Jeff. So Debbie and Jeff, we're talking about the business case for accessibility. And I'd like you to share your experiences using different audio systems in public spaces and what your experience was like, what worked, what didn't. So I pose the question to either of you or both of you.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to start things off mentioning Debbie and I are both bilateral cochlear implant recipients. So,
one situation I'd like to share with everyone is when I was in paid employment, I was required to do a presentation, and this was in a major city in Ontario, and I was required to present in the Chamber Council chambers. And so I contacted them ahead, and I said, do you have the loop system there? Because I need that in order to be able to hear questions. And they said, yes, we do. And I said, okay, well, I think I should try it beforehand just to make sure everything goes smoothly. So I met up with the audio-visual person, and they said it's on, and I tried it and it didn't work. And they said, well, they phoned some people and they said, well, it's working. And I said, well, it's not working. So anyway, to rectify the situation during the presentation, I had my own personal FM system, and the microphone had to be passed to each of the people that wanted to ask me a question. And the only reason this happened was because my CEO had to advocate for me and set this up. So that was very, very disappointing to me in a public venue, not being able to use a so-called loop system that they had installed for that very purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think even looking back at our post-secondary days, the amount of advocacy and accessibility was not there. So textbooks were our best friend. But like on a personal level, I remember Debbie and I going to Alcatraz to see, it's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the States. And we were assured they had very reliable communication in the self-guided tour kind of way. And all they had was a stethoscope kind of system. I don't know which one of those compared to Ariel's screen, but it was basically useless for Debbie and I to hear whatever the inmate or whoever was saying.
Yeah. Another situation, we were in a theater in a large city in the States, and they had 20 different performances of a play that we wanted to see, and one was open captioned. Now, luckily, we could make it on that day. We had to sit in a certain area, and it worked fine. They had a technician there making sure that all the speech and the captioning aligned. But we were just lucky we were able to make that one performance.
Oh, for sure. And even at that same venue and other venues, we know they have basically an app that it's captioning on your phone. So you try watching a live performance and glancing down at your phone, you can't follow the whole scope of things. It's impossible. So it's not a seamless communication system. So it's better than nothing, but it's certainly not super desirable in our opinion.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your experience. I'm hearing a few different things, and one is the education, the training, and the advocacy that goes behind making facilities accessible. And it's not about just placing the technology there and not having somebody to upkeep it or test it before every single performance, because perhaps the situation that you're referring to, Debbie, when you were giving that presentation, had somebody have tested the technology beforehand, it could have been fixed for you. And that's the important thing, is anytime that you're putting equipment, technology within a public space, that you're able to utilize all of the microphones, not just the one from your personal FM system, because then it's not the same experience. You need to be able to capture that. So thank you for sharing that. So I know that you tried Bettear, and I'd love for you to share your experience with the Bettear technology.
Okay, so we've experienced Bettear in 2 different venues, and we found the app was so easy to use. It's just a typical download from the App Store, and it actually was with at a local library here where we live, and we're very proud of this library. So we were happy to be able to go to this event. And we found we could sit anywhere. So we've been there 4 times, and we've used the Bettear app 4 times, and we've sat in different places, and the sound quality was the same. And it's actually excellent. It's just like streaming from my phone if I want to listen to a podcast or whatever. I was very, very pleasantly surprised. The only little learning curve we had is that we just had to make sure that we set our external microphones on, so we don't hear too much outside noise, and just making sure our phone had, a full charge on it in case, the performance went on for longer. And then the second one.
And we never dreamed of going to a stand-up comedy routine before, but for various reasons, but we went to a place actually in Kitchener, Ontario, and we had a lovely time. It was very nice. And I just wanted to touch on what Debbie said about you could see in different seating areas. That place in Minneapolis that we went for open captioning, which was really nice. There was a very select set of seats, maybe 20 or 30 seats. If you were way back in the back of the theater, there's no way you could read that open captioning. So this application is wonderful because it grabs everybody.
Yeah, and it's just the feeling to be able to walk into an event knowing that you're going to be able to hear, not struggle to hear, that you're able to hear, and you can sit where you want with your friends, and it just feels like, almost like a gift.
Thank you. So if you had a message for venue owners, theaters, community centers, wherever it might be, why should they invest in assistive listening solutions? And how does it benefit, in your opinion, it benefits you, and it how would it benefit the business side of the venue?
Well, I think first, it's an untapped group of people. So you have people with hearing loss that, they probably have had similar experiences that Jeff and I have had, where it's been very frustrating to go somewhere and something doesn't work, or you have to advocate for yourself, and really you just wanted to go and have a good time that night. But it's also like the partners too. So in our case, Jeff and I both have hearing losses. But if one of the partners doesn't have a hearing loss, well, then neither of you go, because if you're doing something together, you're going to do something that you both can enjoy. And then friends and families, right? So I give my experience that I had this not a good experience at a venue, and it influences our friends and families. And I'm not going to suggest to my friends that we go there. So you've got a sort of an untapped group of people, some that are dissatisfied and some that they're just not going to bother. So that I think would be a good reason to get a new, modern, reliable technology that helps people with hearing loss.
Yeah, and I know, like, from a business perspective, I was a finance guy. It's like, oh, what's this going to cost my organization to put this new, fabulous system in place? Am I ripping up flooring or ripping walls or whatever? And that's not the case, as far as Ariel can speak more to this than I can, but it's an effective way of doing things without doing damage to the structure of a building.
Yeah, and there's also the enrichment part too. It's like, it's benefit to the community. So, you're bringing people like our beloved library that has these authors that we would love to go and see. And it's a socialization event for us as well. And, it's just good for the community. It fosters a sort of an environment of inclusion, and just being able to hear and understand and benefit and get the same emotional benefit that you can, that people with normal hearing can when they're watching something. I mean, that's like means a lot to not just the people with the hearing loss, but their friends and families as well.
Yeah, and I think, and Debbie did touch on it, word of mouth is very, very powerful tool. So if we go to a venue that has Bettear and it's fabulous, we're going to be spreading the word. As opposed to another place, we have to check with venues ahead of time. How's your system working, or do you even have a system? So it's very comforting, and I'm not going to badmouth a venue, but I'm certainly not going to go out of my way and say, oh,
Right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your personal experience. I've always said it's not the creators of the technology, nor, is it us. It's the people who utilize the technology that should be at the table, should be, the ones who promote the technology and qualify the technology as well. So thank you so much for joining us. I am going to move to ask Porson some questions regarding the implementation and how practical it is. So hi, Porson.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to start off with a self-description. So I am a middle-aged Asian man. I'm wearing black glasses with a medium length sort of a comb over hair. I'm in a room with a light blue background with a sort of an ambient light behind me. And I'm just here kind of smiling and happy to be here. I kind of noticed that there's some questionnaire that I kind of looked into it, and I'm kind of hoping that I might be able to kind of answer all these questions that you guys might have. So with the integration with Bettear to the venue, so a lot of the time it's kind of just starting off with preparation and sort of doing a site surveying. One of the main requirements, which I think Ariel has touched on, is that the Bettear does connect to a sound console. So if you're in a conference room or a lecture hall, as long as there is a sound console that you have a microphone and a sound console mixer, it essentially the B show would essentially just kind of connect it to your sound console. And your AV specialist would be the one that does all the controlling of their volume, the balancing, the trebles, and anything that they do. So it's very seamless. This system is sort of a plug and play situation. Essentially, it has two components. You have the B show, which Ariel has kind of showed that in a presentation. You also have the access point. And so the access point is what allows a user on their smartphone to be able to connect wirelessly. And the latency when the individuals are listening to is, I'm going to say, is probably about I think Ariel can kind of probably correct it. I think it's about 0.5 to 1 millisecond delay. We've had this set up in outdoor events, specifically like performance art theater, for example. And there are actors that are wearing microphone, and I've seen individual who was very impressed with the audio that's synchronized with the person speaking during the performance. And it was almost very synchronized to the point. So there might be a slight little delay, but it's almost like perfect to that point of it. So that's kind of a really great thing about with Bettear. The installation and everything, a lot of the time that we would do the configuration on our end, after we ask all the necessary question and finding out what the size of the venue, if there's any concrete, and if there's like a divided room. So we do a lot of site surveying, and then we kind of make sure that we have the right access point to be able to support the entire room. And you can have up to, for example, for some of the events that we've done, we've had total attendance about 5,000 people attending the show, but we would typically estimate about 1 to 4% of the 5,000 would most likely be hard of hearing with hearing aids or cochlear implant, or user that can kind of utilize their own personal Bluetooth headphone. They would just kind of stream that. So you have about, I would say maybe about up to 100 user can simultaneously stream the sound right from the, for example, a concert. So if the band are singing, you're going to hear right from where the microphone is, as well as the background of the instrumental. So I hope that kind of answered the question.
That sounds like it's not too complicated, and most AV experts that you work with, they find that the installation process is pretty easy.
I would say so, yeah. Typically, like the installation that would probably take up to about maybe 15 or 30 minutes. That exclude the testing of the audio. So we will kind of, once everything is all set up, we would kind of survey around the room, making sure that anywhere in the room that you're in is picking up a sound straight from the hearing aids or the Bluetooth. It really is just kind of a plug and play. So a lot of the AV team that I've worked with, we just requested for a line out input with an XLR cable, and it's just one is plugged to the B show, which is the black device, and then the other end is plugged to the sound console. So that's really what it is. I kind of see it's like you're piggybacking audio from the sound console, and then basically it provides the audio to the smartphone device, then to your Bluetooth headphones or hearing aids or cochlear implant.
So you've worked with quite a few venues. What is the mix? Are you working with indoor venues, indoor and out venues? What has your experience been?
So working in the outdoor events is definitely a lot more easier and simple to do, but I think it's about the same as we would do it from an indoor. The reason is because with Bettear is that I just want to mention that I'm one of the installer and setup on behalf of Bettear. So one of the things that we find that outdoor kind of in my experience, it's performed just as great as indoor. The only kind of a little small drawback is kind of making sure that there's no other existing Wi-Fi that could be interfering with it. So with the outdoor events, there's not a whole lot of other outdoor Wi-Fi's available. Keep in mind that our access point does not provide cellular data or any internet. It's just a local network that allows audio to just stream through without any other interruption. And so that kind of where like we're able to kind of configure the access point in terms of the channels to make sure it doesn't interfere with other existing network. So I do find that the outdoor performance better. With the indoor, it kind of really depends on the venue. So we've done places like conference hall setting. We've done places in a meeting room as well too. So currently the room that I'm in is a conference meeting. And so we have that here set up in this room that I'm currently in.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So just can you give a bit of an overview of what kind of support and training that you provide for venues?
Yes, so with the trainings, after the installation, everything's usually I will consult with their team and the team that are involved with either they're in a performing art room, performing art theaters or in a conference. So we do provide all necessary questions, technical support, visitation if there's something is not running or something that they need to do, like for example, a firmware update on their system. We have all the necessary marketing materials to provide them to them. So for example, there's like a postcard that basically has a QR code that they can just present it to their patron or the visitor that are using Bettear. So they can simply use the phone, scan it, and then they're able to download that. Pretty seamless. We also do provide training on network with the network team that are individuals that are familiar with with network and as well as audio. So a lot of a technical training that we can also provide, and some of the other training for staff members that are supporting their Patreon, utilizing or using Bettear.
Oh, thank you, Porson. Those are really great points. I was wondering if you could just touch upon utilizing the Bettear app for yourself and just describing some of the special features that are on the app.
Yeah, so I'm sorry that I didn't mention in the beginning. So I am a hard of hearing, so I do wear hearing aids. Worn hearing at a very young age. With the Bettear apps, which you can actually download it right now, you can actually kind of explore it. You won't be able to connect to a venue to stream it because you do have to be physically be in the venue. The one of the great thing is that there's a really cool, unique feature that if you, for example, if you have taken a hearing test and an audiology center, there's a full hearing test where it basically allows to create like a preset best audio setting for your hearing aid or cochlear implant. So that's kind of a great one. There's also other type of preset profile that you can choose, whether you can choose you're in a meeting room or if you're in a music room or a music environment, or if you're in a lecture environment. So there's like a preset that you can preset your audio. One of the other great unique is about the feature is if you don't know if your venue has Bettear, they added a feature called an accessibility map. It kind of pinpoint which location has Bettear and the venue's name and the address of that location. So if you're ever wondering if this venue has it, the individual who utilized Bettear can, this place does have Bettear. I'm gonna go there and attend their show or a movie or anything like that. So that's kind of a really unique feature that definitely allows a user to be able to know that these are available.
Well, thank you so much. I want to talk about looking ahead and what's ahead. So Ariel, can I call you back on the screen? Ariel, I'd like to know, where do you see the future of assistive technology going in the next 5 years? Like, what are you guys working on now?
Okay. First of all, I would like to run through a number of use cases, and some of them have been mentioned by Paulson.
Perfect.
For example, installing a Bettear system in an indoor basketball arena, which usually hosts 20,000 attendees. And last summer it hosted this circus. You can have a look at this Wi-Fi access point that was installed in the middle of this arena and offered full coverage of this arena. An outdoor music event, 65,000 attendees. On average, 500 of them are using our system. A mosque with the Wi-Fi access point installed here, easily installed less than 2 hours, and this great looking mosque is now fully accessible for the hard of hearing. And I forgot to mention earlier the fact that we do offer a transcription, so we can stream audio and text simultaneously. Currently using someone dedicated for typing in the text. Later this year, we hope to introduce speech-to-text based on cloud services. So this is the first part of my answer. And I want to also move ahead and speak about Auracast, because this is, so I believe, the future. As I mentioned before, Auracast is going to be offered in all the hearables available for the hard of hearing, like hearing aids and cochlear implants. Already Cochlear has Cochlear from Australia, the leading cochlear implant company, is now supporting Auracast. 3 hearing aids companies are supporting Auracast, and so on and so on. You can see in this slide an example where we installed our Auracast solution in a very large auditorium with 1,200 seats. This is going to happen time and again. You can see that on the right-hand side, a pair of hearing aids were connected to a Samsung device, getting the Auracast stream. So we will see more and more lecture halls and auditorium being installed with Auracast streaming, and more users supporting using Auracast. Tour guiding will shift to Auracast, because today when you join a tour guide, in most cases there is no offering for the hard of hearing. And again, using a system like Bettear's, more and more people could join and get the audio stream directly into their hearables. On flights. So I tested our products on flights. I would assume that most of you, when they flew the last time, the audio quality of the PA system is really bad. I tested Auracast and it was amazing. So I believe that more and more airlines will introduce Auracast as their method of streaming audio via the PA system. In sports arenas, used for offering various services in sports arenas. Public transportations. I'm certain that more and more public transportation services will use Auracast for streaming various audio messages. We are already in touch with a number of them, looking into the possibilities involved in installing and using Auracast. And I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Google introduced Auracast into the Android 16. This is a major step forward. The fact that a major company like Google introduced Auracast as part of their operating system means that in the near future, later this year, most of the Android-based smartphones will support Auracast. And this is definitely a push forward for the introduction of this technology. So with such features and installments in the field, I do believe that in the next few years, Auracast is going to be the leading technology with regard to public audio streaming for the hard of hearing.
Well, thank you. And the one thing about what we're all hearing about with Auracast is, think about it's going to be life-changing. It's going to be life-changing for people with hearing loss and hearing aids or cochlear implants or wearables that are Auracast compatible, because think about when you go into a subway system would be a really good example for me, and hearing an auditory announcement with really, really poor quality speakers. This is going to be a game changer in all transportation areas and beyond. So just think of Auracast compatible going from transmitter, wherever that sound source is, directly to somebody's hearing aid or cochlear implant. We are running out of time. Super interesting discussion. We have some questions that I'm hoping that we would be able to answer some of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a question for Debbie and Jeff regarding which library had the thoughtful setup.
Good question. It's the Grimsby Public Library in Grimsby, Ontario.
That's near Hamilton.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Is there a delay with Wi-Fi from when the speaker speaks to when the, I think this is meant for when the person hears?
Okay, if I can answer that, yes, indeed. And this latency can range anywhere from 40 milliseconds to 80 milliseconds. And it depends on the type of smartphone, depending on the hearable and what version of Bluetooth. Bettear and Wavefront can offer Bluetooth-less Bettear receivers that offer latency of up to 40 milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
Another question for Bettear, what does an organization need to do to set up the system? So maybe I'll pass that one to Porson.
Yes.
Yeah, so I kind of mentioned earlier that so as long as the organization already have a audio system set up, so a sound console with a microphone and input that allows the B show to connect to, as long as that is available, we can kind of make it work around that to have that available and be able to work. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so reduction of background noise using the Auracast, is that still up to the features of the individual's hearing aids?
Correct.
And Ariel?
Yes, indeed. Yes, this is related to the capabilities of the hearable.
Okay, perfect. And just to add to that, what I've experienced with some people using Bettear is to mute the microphone. And I think, Porson, you've already identified that by muting your microphone so that you're receiving one source of sound.
Yeah, that's correct. So I believe most of the hearing aid manufacturers, you do have the ability to mute the microphone of the hearing aid so that you're not picking up sound from the speakers for the other audience that aren't wearing hearing aids or a cochlear implant. So generally, for those who wear hearing aids and cochlear, they usually have the ability and they should be able to kind of mute that either from their apps or from their own hearing aids that they wear.
Okay. Next question. Is Bluetooth safe to use on the airplane while watching a movie or listening to music? I'm flying out in early April to another province. Who wants to take that on? Ariel?
Yes, yes, it is. It is safe because the allowable transmission power of Bluetooth is very low. It doesn't affect. Actually, you can use it and listen. And some of the companies offering long distance flight are offering in-flight services using Bluetooth. So you can actually connect your headphone or earphone to the media system on the plane.
Okay, Porson. Is there a loaner or rental program available for venues to try out Bettear?
So great question. So one thing I'll kind of mention is that with the clients or business clients that are looking, we do have a portable demo that we can actually bring it out to you and just plug into an outlet store and you can test for that. We also can work together to kind of provide like a trial run to have it set up for your venue, for a theater. That way you can kind of get a general understanding of how the system works. Hopefully that answered the question.
Okay, thank you. Next question. I have my Phonak app. Is my Phonak good to use as well? Is it the same as Bettear?
Let me answer this. It's a very good question. I think Paulson touched on the fact that our application has some sort of sound improvement capabilities. And indeed, we will never affect the presets of the application which comes with the hearing aid, because the hearing aid was fitted for the specific hearing loss of the person. But we do enable adding on with our equalizer capability built into the application. We do allow further improvement of the sound quality when the person comes into the venue. So specifically Phonak, Sonova, Resound, whoever is using a built-in app, our application is going to further enhance the sound quality after the sound passed through the built-in app of the hearing aid.
Okay, I think this might be our last question, although we do have some more, and I promise that I will gather them and send them out to everybody along with the responses. This one's a good one. Can you confirm the Auracast is compatible to all hearing aid brands?
I'm afraid at the moment not, because Auracast is all about modifying and including a newer version of Bluetooth chipsets.
Right. So currently there's am I right that there's only 3 right now? There's 1 cochlear implant and 2 hearing aids that offer Auracast?
Actually, 3 brands offer 4, because GN Resound has 2 hearing aids supporting Auracast. Starkey has 1, Cochlear, and there's another company, I forgot the name.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for that update.
I was hoping we can answer one question from Jen, if that's possible.
Sure.
So Jen asked that when using at a venue, is there a way to test that it's working properly with your device before the show start? So there's time to address before the show start. So yes, of course, you can. Bettear is going to be kind of powered on at all time. Of course, you can turn it off by unplugging it, but you can also use your own smartphone and just download it. And if you, as long as you have a Bluetooth Bluetooth headphone or a wired headphone, you can actually test it out before the show start. So any of your staff member, anyone can actually test it out. And of course, you'll be able to see if your Bettear is on as well too. So one of the performing art theater that I will mention that is a use case is the Shabbat Theater. So they currently have Bettear set up over there, and they're pretty well now versed with that. So they'll always know that the Bettear is online and working before their show start. So I hope that answered your question, Jen. Thank you.
We do have a couple of more questions. We are running out of time. So we're down to the wire. We have 1 minute left. So I do want to thank all of our guests. Thank you for signing up for our webinar. We're always eager to share information. If we don't have the answers for you, we will always find them and we will always communicate that with you. If you're a venue attending today, thank you. We do have the ability to test and trial the Bettear system with you, and we'll be sending out emails with information. I know some people have asked for pricing, and I will get that to everybody as well. Thank you to our access team, our interpreters, and our CART people, and everybody. Just wishing you a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.